and practice it and get involved in using it and finding out what works and how you can grow so that you're not in the same place next year as you are this year as a baby Christian. So here's what he's telling us. He's saying, if you're going to do this, the first discipline is to do your part. To realize that while Jesus is everything in salvation, he gives you something to do now that you're a Christian. He's not just going to make you godly. You have to work at this. You have to take the responsibility. There is a personal responsibility. I've dealt with this over and over again in writing books and in teaching. It's one of the most misunderstood things among Christians, which is why there's so much passivity in the Christian walk today. But notice, not only should I do my part, Philippians 2:12, but I have to depend on God. Here again, we're back in this cooperative that we have with God and us. Notice verse 13. After he says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, he then says, it is God who works in you, both to will and to do for his good pleasure. God has worked in us. He's working in us. He will continue to work in us, but we're to work diligently so that we might realize the benefit of all that God has done and is doing for us. Both divine enablement and human responsibility are involved. How many of you know God doesn't speak to us out loud? I've never heard God's voice out loud. I hear his voice through the scripture. Sometimes I hear the voice of God through the scripture that I've memorized, or little bits and pieces of it that come back to me. Sometimes in the night hours, sometimes in the early mornings when I'm driving in the car and have enough sense to turn the radio off. God speaks to me. But what I think we learn from this passage is when God speaks, it's usually not something for us to consider. God doesn't say, here are 3 options. God says, do this. And that's where you get involved. God isn't going to do what he's asked you to do. So you have to do it. So you say, well, I'm waiting for the Spirit. I'm waiting for the Spirit to move me. Hang on to that one for a while. Discipline 1 is I'm going to do my part. Discipline 2 is God's going to do his part. He's going to will and do. He's going to give you the desire, and he's going to tell you what to do. But you have to respond. You have to take it the next step. Now, it would be really unusual if Paul would give us such strong encouragement without giving us some illustrations of how this works. So here's the third discipline. I will do my part. I will depend on God. Number 3, I will be different from the world. I want you to read with me verses 14 through 16. Do all things without complaining. That's a pretty good start if you're a pastor.